Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I have got another Traveler's Notebook process here for you, and I am going to show you how you can use a scrapbook layout sketch in your Traveler's Notebook and also some hand stitching. So because I am doing the hand stitching, I did cut another piece of paper. It's the same type of paper that I use in the book, and I cut it to the same size as the pages in the book, and I'm working from this sketch, which is the February sketch the February sketch from Kidaholic Kids this month. So because it's a pretty kind of basic sketch, it was easy to shrink it down to put in a Traveler's Notebook. So I traced out a heart and got it to the size I wanted, and now I'm tracing around it, and I'm doing all this in just HB lead pencil, and then I'm going to pierce some holes. And the trick to doing this, I mean, I'm using the piercing mat here from Stamping Up. You don't have to do this. I'm just a bit fussy like that. I want all the holes to be even. But the trick is to have a foam mat or even a mouse pad underneath. Makes it easier to poke the holes on the pattern that you want. So I am just using my is it We Are Memory Keepers that make that little tool, little piercing tool that you can use for popping brads into your page. I'm just using that. You could use a needle or anything that's sharp. There you go. I'm showing the piercing mat there from Stamping Up. Anything that's sharp, and yeah, just poke some even holes around the pattern. Now I'm erasing the pencil lines because I want to put some paint on the background, and I've learned the hard way to erase the pencil lines before you put the paint down, because otherwise they will not erase away. I'm using the Kaisercraft candy paint that we got in our mixed media kit from Kidaholic Kids this month. It comes out quite fast. I didn't mean to squeeze that much out. It's a beautiful color, though I wanted to really kind of mute it down and water it down, so I do add a lot of water to it before doing the packaging technique to my page. So my goal was to get most of the colour where I was going to do the stitching, in where those hearts were, and lightly bring some colour up to the top of the page and to the bottom. I'm just wetting around the hearts. I haven't gessoed the page at all. It did warp, but not too badly, so I'm just applying most of the colour to where I want to do the stitching, and then I'm going to lightly bring some colour down to the bottom and up to the top. So we got these awesome paintbrushes in our mixed media kit this month from Kidaholic Kids, and the fan brush is perfect for doing some splattering, and it puts off a really fine splatter, and I love it. And then I wanted some bigger drops there, so I grabbed a bigger paintbrush and just splatter that, and I kind of go in and paint some dots in there as well. Now, before you start stitching anything, if you've used any kind of media, it's very important that everything is 100% dry. You do not want any dampness at all, otherwise your paper will tear once you start bringing the needle in and out of them holes. And now I'm just grabbing some embroidery floss. I'm just using white. I wanted it to be subtle. I was thinking of pink, but then I decided to go with white. Embroidery floss, if you're not familiar with it, comes as 6 strands. So I separated it to 4 strands, and this is the needle I'm using. You want a needle that's got a hole big enough to fit your embroidery thread through, but you don't want the needle too big that it's going to cause problems when you start sewing, making the holes too big. So, and I'm also going to tape down my tail. Not going to tie a knot because this is going to be stuck in the book and I don't want a big knot showing on the underside causing problems. And I've slowed this down to real time to show you that I'm just doing a simple back stitch. So you go up through the hole and then you want to go back down through the last stitch there, and then you're going to repeat this all the way around. You're going to come up the next hole and then you're going to go back down through the previous stitch. And you do not want to pull your thread too tight when you're making these stitches, otherwise it's just going to pull right through the paper. And it's nice to when you don't pull it too tight, it leaves a nice little raised stitch which leaves such a beautiful texture on your page. So just keep that in mind, that when you're doing this, not to pull your thread too tightly. So a little tip that I want to give you is sometimes the thread can get all tangled and start twisting on itself. So just let go of the needle like I'm doing here and just let it go until it untwists itself, and then you're good to go again. So just finishing up my hearts, and I'm just going to tape the tail down, and I did time myself, so 25 minutes and 53 seconds, but that was me scrolling through YouTube and picking videos to watch, as well as I did get a knot in my thread, so that caused a bit of downtime, and I also ran out of thread, so I had to grab another 4 strands and rethread my needle and go, and I just left the timer going through that whole process. So now comes the fun part of embellishing, and this is my little bowl of goodies and container of goodies of all the embellishments that we get in Kidaholic kits. And let me tell you, there's so much. I can never ever get through them in 1 month. They are just jam-packed. And I grabbed some of the chipboard hearts from the kits, and I'm giving them a coat of gesso because one will be white and the other wanted to paint pink, and so I gave them 2 coats of gesso each. So here comes the fun part, well, for me anyway, not sticking the page so it goes neatly into the book. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I am the worst when it comes to sticking things. I can never get things straight or centered. So I did put quite a lot of double-sided tape on the back of this page. And you could certainly try stitching in your book, but you'll notice that I did get close to the edges, and that would become quite awkward doing it in the actual book. If you're doing a little bit of stitching just up in the top corner or along the edge, I'd say you could probably get away with that. But yeah, because I got the stitching so close to the edges, it's just a lot easier this way. So I'm just burnishing the double-sided tape really well because of all the the thread on the back causes quite a bit of ridges and bumps and that, so you want the adhesive to be well on there. And I was pleasantly surprised that I got this on so well. There was a little bit of overhang at the bottom of the page, but I did pretty good. So I'm just giving everything a really good burnish and pushing everything down. The tail that the first tail I taped down, it kind of caused a bit of a ridge under the page, but it wasn't too much of a problem. And there we go with the paint again. I squeezed it and too much came out, but that's all good. Just giving that heart a coat of the pink paint. And this is where I gave the white heart the second coat of gesso as well. So, and now I'm going to do the packaging technique on the other side of my page, on this side here. And I like how it turned out, but I wish that I'd put more colour in that focal spot where the doily will be sitting. I put way too much paint on here. You'll see that I'll take some off with some tissue because I just want a really light, faint colour. I did grab the fan brush and do some splattering and a few little dots of paint too, and I will dry that up and then start sticking all my elements. So I really love this black and white striped heart, but it was just too big for where I wanted to sit, so I just grabbed another heart, traced around it, cut it out, and I had a smaller black and white striped heart that fit perfectly where I wanted it. So all these pieces and the black and white striped heart are from the ephemera pack from the kits. The black label is from the cutter parts and the doily is from my stash. Now on the sketch there was a little sentiment going across the bottom of the Polaroid, so I grabbed the sticker sheet with all the little tiny word stickers and I just popped that down on the bottom of my Instax along with the chipboard hearts. I wanted to bring some gold into the spread, so I grabbed some Colour Shine. I couldn't find my gold metallic paint that came in the kits. I don't know if my daughter's taken it somewhere or not, but I wanted to use it but could not find it. So just drying everything up, and I also typed out my journaling on my typewriter and just cutting it into strips so I can pop that on my page. And The heart that I stuck under the Instax, the pink one, it came out a bit darker than I thought it would. So I'm going to bring in some of those enamel shapes that we got in the kits to bring some of that kind of darker pink into the layout, plus I do grab a sticker from my stash as well. So just finishing up sticking all my bits and pieces in, and I am going to grab those enamel hearts that you can see right there onto the layout to bring some more of that darker pink in. And also I had these really cute bunny stickers in my stash, and I popped one over on that black and white stripe heart too. So I had a look at my page and it felt a little bit airy. I felt like it needed a little bit of grounding, so just grabbing some black pens. The first one was a Pit Artist pen, are they called? And I also I went to grab one of my Micron pens in 0.01, and my daughter must have used it because the tip had been pushed right in. So I grabbed this crown pen. I believe I bought it from Etsy a few years ago, and it's a very, very fine, gives up a very fine line. So I just ran two kind of messy borders around the page. And here comes that cute little bunny. I never thought I'd use a bunny on any spread of mine, but quite happy with myself that I did. Okay guys, I am going to slow the footage down. Oh, also, sorry, forgot that I added the black bling. I didn't want to add ink splatters, so I found some black bling in my stash and popped that on the page. So here's some slowed down footage, and I'll have some stills after this, and thanks for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. See ya!